this is Marco. Today I want to talk to you about the B movie and the blockbuster. So let me explain what I mean. When you're about to do something that you've not done before, where you want to achieve something you've never achieved before, what happens is, in your mind, several filters are applied to that decision that you're trying to make. And what happens is because of your past experience and conditioning, and also your biology of the wiring of your brain, it defaults to what we call the B movie, to what I call the B movie. Now, the B movie is where you play in your mind, actually in video, in full footage of what you've done before, how it's failed, how disappointed you've been, and the emotional connection to it. So you've actually created a program of belief that if you try this new thing, you might fail, you might be disappointed, and you might repeat the same event again and again and again. Now, the B movie is a very strong default program. It's called your default operating mechanism. And if you are not aware of that, it's going to keep playing and basically sabotaging your efforts to get to a better place and grow. Now, all growth is very uncomfortable because you're learning something brand new. It's like when you're getting into a car and learning to drive for the first time. You can hardly move it an inch because you're afraid you might crash, you make the wrong decision or press the wrong button or the wrong pedal, and it all goes wrong. And that's exactly what it was like when you were learning to drive. It was very much a stop, start, start, stop experience where you did fail a lot. You didn't know what you were doing. You were so aware, like consciously, you were ultimately aware of what was going on around you. You were focused on that experience. So you know you have to drive because that's your freedom and independence. So basically the stakes of the freedom of the outcome outweigh the cost of doing it. So what we must do to achieve what we want to do is we always must go to the blockbuster movie. Now, the blockbuster movie is the movie where your dreams come true, your best outcome is achieved, and you are the hero of that story. You are on that heroic journey of achievement. And to get on that heroic journey of achievement, you must transform into a different person to be able to adopt and learn new skills and drop the old filters that I can't do it, I'm too weak, I don't have the resources, excuse after excuse after excuse, because it kind of validates you and keeps you safe. Now, the way that your mind works is you have three brains. You have the reptilian brain, you have the mammalian brain, and you have the neocortex, which is the rational mind. This is the difference between humans and animals. So if we think about it very carefully, the reptilian brain is stimulated by survival. So if your food is threatened, if your water is threatened, if your shelter is threatened, what the reptile will do is it will take action. But if it's not threatened, it will stay exactly where it is. And you can actually equate that to being in a job. Because if your boss fires you, what's your default operating mechanism doing? What's the reaction? So the reaction is eventually, well, first of all, you feel kind of free because you don't have to go to work tomorrow, but eventually you've got a mortgage to pay and you've got your bills to pay. So reaction is, shit, I better look for another job. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to survive. So it kicks back into that reptilian mind. And if you have if you're parents and if you have children, it's the mammalian brain, because you've got to protect the children. So you think you've got to go and get another job. Your reaction is not to find something that's going to make you prosper and going to help you achieve your goals and fulfill your potential. That's not your response. But you've got to respond differently, very differently, to get what you want. And you have to learn how to manage your mind, because managing your mind is absolutely the key to everything that you want to achieve and everything you're going to get and all the outcomes that you've got. Now, don't get me wrong. Everything that I've achieved has been bloody difficult because I've had to battle with my mind. It's the internal battle that has been the most difficult, not the external battle. The external battle is you have tools that you just have to learn to use to get what you want on the outside. The inside battle is you've got to want to use that tool. So that's the struggle. And what you must do is always go to the outcomes of what you want and stay in the blockbuster movie. And if you're feeling you're going to the B movie, get out of the cinema, leave it, close the doors in your mind and put it in a box and just step on it with your foot and get into the blockbuster session. And go into that session and surround yourself with people that are also in your blockbuster movie that are helping you achieve your outcome, and go to those people. Now, one of the best ways to do that is to get a coach. Get a coach that specializes in what you want to achieve. Also, read books. A lot of people they're lazy, you know. Things get in the way. They'd rather go out and they'd rather have a short-term gratification rather than a long-term effort to get what they really want. So this is a huge deal, right? And basically, you have to stay in that blockbuster movie. Otherwise, you're not going to get what you want because you haven't seen it. And you have to see it in order to believe it to achieve it. So this is Marco. Have a nice day. Be a blockbuster. See you later. Bye-bye.